pretty well. We've actually seen an increase with everything. So trying to keep up, maintain, and still grow.
Awesome. Awesome. Did you want to join in on the Instagram live? Did you want to try that?
What's the easiest, do you think?
It's up to you. I'm broadcasting live on the BUSI 101 Instagram.
Okay, I'm trying to think if it's possible for how would I join? Do you send a request for me to be in the?
Yeah. Do you have your phone or your?
I have my phone with me too.
Yeah, just join the BUSI 101 live, and then I'll request you to join in.
All right.
We've got Kendra, Mackenzie.
What's the account called again? It's not the BUSI 210, right?
No, it's BUSI
101.
Yep. Design of business.
All right.
Okay. There you are. So
all right.
I'm gonna put my headphones on. I guess we go. We got it going both ways.
All right. Cool.
Let me see. Unmute you. Maybe you want to turn your. I'm hearing an echo.
I am not sure.
All right, I turned my volume down. How's that? What'd you say, Chris?
I said, I think that there's still going to be an echo.
All right, let's see. How are we doing now?
Yeah, I mean, sounds all right on my end.
Awesome.
Good for you. All right.
Yeah, I put on my headphones, so I think we're rocking and rolling. I want to be respectful of your time. Thank you for stopping by. I got to tell you this. So this is an online course. I have office hours. This is the most students I've seen in the office hours since the class has started. So you've drawn everybody out. We've got 8 people on the live. We've got 3 on the Zoom. And Madison, she emailed a question in for you as well.
Perfect.
So this is awesome, Chris. Thank you for coming out. I'm gonna give you the floor and just let you tell them about yourself, what you've been doing, and then open it up for any questions.
Okay, perfect. And I guess I think I'm looking like some of these viewers might also be just followers from the Boosted Stripes account. So I guess just kind of give the ground information. Like you said, it's an online course, and we're going to be talking about basically how I came up with the idea, how we've started Boosted Stripes, and have continued to move the business in a positive direction. And then we'll kind of go over some questions that everyone has.
Okay.
So to start, my name is Chris. I graduated college from Indiana University in December of 2015. So just over 5 years ago. And pretty much immediately following college, I kind of had this idea that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't necessarily love the idea of working a 9 to 5 and kind of being stuck behind a desk. During my senior year, I had met an artist who was painting different sneakers and cleats. His name is Dylan DeJesus, and he runs a business called DeJesus Custom Footwear. And so we were painting shoes, mostly cleats for professional athletes and football players, but this would be like an example. Here's another example of like kind of a crazier cheetah print. And then we had like these Nike Roches that we were selling where we would just paint the sole and then the swoosh. And basically what would happen was we would post a picture, or we would post these shoes, an athlete would post the shoes, and then we would get a bunch of direct messages asking, you know, how can we get this pair, or how do we get something similar? And as soon as you started kind of telling them price points and whatnot, anywhere between $400 to $600, most of the people messaging weren't able to afford that price. And what we had started to notice was it was mostly kids between the ages of 12 and 20 years old, either wanting it for, you know, their travel football or baseball team, going into high school. And their most common question after seeing it and then hearing the price was, you know, what if you just painted this swoosh? And so kind of moving into that concept, we came up with the idea of doing a similar idea using this wrap, similar to how they would customize vehicles, just wrapping them using a heat source to kind of activate the adhesive. And we use this concept to kind of come up with the idea of making these pre-cut stripes for Adidas shoes. So they come in a probably about, like right now we have 50 different colors, between different chromes, carbon fibers, different printed designs. And really this concept is this kind of semi-permanent customization that can always be removed, and it's non-damaging to the sneakers. So the products last anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And the idea is that, you know, you're kind of matching them to how you're feeling in that point in time. Maybe you're matching them to a sports team that's in season, or maybe you just want kind of a different look on your shoe. And so this gives you the ability to do so without having to purchase another whole new pair of shoes. And kind of introduces this idea of just customization where you can personalize these sneakers yourself.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to open it up for any questions. Kendra, Mackenzie, Tori, any questions you may have? Oh, there's a question. How much are the boosted stripes?
So all of the stripes sell for between $10 and $15, and it comes with enough to do one pair of shoes. And then we do offer a number of discounts if you purchase in bulk. So right now we have a buy two, get one free on the stripes. And so we try to kind of work in these discounts so that people are choosing more than one option and have this ability to change up their shoes.
I've got a question from Madison. She said, what is your inspiration in starting Boosted Stripes?
So I mean, I've always loved fashion and sneakers. Growing up, I worked at Nordstrom's just as a salesperson, and kind of really fell in love with this idea of customer service and showing somebody showing something to somebody they didn't know they wanted necessarily. And so this idea of, you know, somebody has this all white pair of shoes, and we were starting to see people, you know, use markers, use paint, different things to really change it up. And most of the time people were kind of stuck on this idea that it had to be permanent. And so a really big thing and big inspiration is just this idea of customization that doesn't need to be permanent, that you can always change it and go kind of go back to either the original shoe or change it to a different colorway.
I'm going to switch. There's a question from Todd Stansberry. How did your collars for Adidas activations come about?
So I would say about a year and a half ago, We started talking with a number of different marketing companies, and what these marketing companies, they would be given or allotted a budget to do different events with Adidas for different launches of sneakers or different events that were happening. So they had found us through Instagram and through kind of a Google search, and had really liked the idea of using custom stripes to kind of promote the exact event that was happening. So we had a number of conversations with these marketing groups, and then some of the people at Adidas that were overseeing it, just trying to kind of come up with something that was unique and original for these events. And kind of the most recent ones were in LA in March before everything happened. They did in Los Angeles kind of big launch events for the Ultra Boost 20, which is the shoe that came out in 2020. So they were promoting it at a bunch of different like home openers. So one for the LA Galaxy, one for the Dodgers ended up not happening, but then one for LAFC, which was their other soccer team, where they would kind of have a very large event set up where they're promoting the shoe. And then to go along with it, we had custom stripes that would match that team to kind of get, you know, people more excited that now not only could they buy this shoe that was just released, but since they were at this event, they could really make it their own and kind of use LA Galaxy stripes or these LAFC themed soccer stripes.
I've got another question from Madison. What were some of the obstacles or barriers you had to overcome?
Really, the biggest thing was, you know, I kind of jumped into this without knowing anything about the materials, about different design softwares and programs to create the actual shapes, to cut them. So I would say, honestly, 12 to 14 months was just trial and error, studying different materials, seeing what would last long, what wouldn't, and really kind of maintaining customer relationships. Because as you can imagine, if you go on, you buy a product on the internet, it doesn't work exactly how you want it to, you're just naturally going to be upset. So I had to make sure to nurture these customer relationships. And so when I did have a product that was great and was working, they would still be there. So that was kind of really the biggest obstacle, was somebody that didn't have the best experience, keeping them engaged and making sure that they knew in the future I would be able to provide a much better experience.
Mm-hmm. That was good. And Kendra is asking, how has the way you're promoting your product changed since COVID started?
So I guess I think a lot of it is marketing. You kind of have to give your customer a sense of security that you are shipping products, that they are going to receive what they order. Because right now, a lot of people maybe don't address it and they aren't shipping products. So people want to kind of have that confirmation and confidence in your business that you're still operating. So that was one thing, just making it clear that, you know, we were still working and shipping during COVID and when all of these kind of shutdowns were happening. And aside from that, it has been a lot more of paid marketing through Instagram and Facebook, Snapchat as well. Just there's been a lot of people that have more time on their hands. They are on their phones. So we're seeing that we're reaching way more people right now than we were 3 months ago. And that just has to do with people being at home, being on their phones. Another thing that we've started to see is bigger shoe brands like Nike, like Adidas. They've been kind of making up for lost sales and having these doors closed by offering different promotions. So Adidas, Nike, all of these guys have been offering between 20 to 30% off on their shoes. So we kind of come in with this angle of, you know, you just bought this pair of shoes on sale, like here are some accessories you can use to make that shoe a little bit different. And we're seeing really great success with people that are then going and buying a shoe on sale and now saying, okay, how can I change it and make it my own? Mm-hmm. So it's almost easy. It's almost like an easier barrier of entry because the shoe itself is being marked down as well.
That's interesting. So I wanted to ask you if you could talk a little bit on marketing, because you just mentioned about Instagram and you threw in Snapchat. Can you talk a little bit about your marketing and marketing platform?
Yeah, so I guess just to kind of go over the life cycle of it, it really started with influencer marketing through Instagram. So when we had launched in July of 2017, we had kind of made it our goal. Let's message everybody in the sneaker community, anybody that's wearing these shoes. Let's send them free product in exchange to hopefully make a relationship and kind of promote this product, but within confidence of these influencers and, showing everybody else kind of leveraging their followings. So what we had done was basically a lot of partnerships through Instagram and where we would kind of exchange free product for some posts. And that was really, I would say the first 6 to 12 months was really hard on just, exchanging free product for posts. And then the other thing that we had done when we had first started building the business was we had gone to a ton of different sneaker con events. So throughout the year, we had went to, I think, about 14 or 15 events. We went to London, we went to Toronto, Chicago, Las Vegas, Memphis, a bunch of different places, and kind of used these influencers and these events in combination. So if we knew certain influencers were from a certain location, on our tables and on these events, we would say endorsed by so-and-so's name. And kind of, it was not in a sense easy, but at that time, this shoe was the most popular shoe. And so a lot of these influencers were wearing this shoe, and it wasn't about kind of convincing them, hey, you need to not only post this product, but you also need to post the Adidas shoe brand, because they were already all wearing it. So about 12 or 15 months into it, momentum kind of switched, and Nike started becoming the more popular shoe brand. And then we had started moving into more so paid advertising. So mainly through Facebook and Instagram, but using their platform to pay and advertise to kind of new people that way. And in the last kind of 6 to 8 months, I would say the majority of growth is coming from this paid advertising through Instagram and Facebook. And then also within the last about 2.5 months, we've been playing with Snapchat advertising. And a lot of it just has to go with like understanding what posts are performing well organically. So just what can we post that we don't have to pay for, that our followers like and will engage with, and then leveraging that to now put it into a paid ad to really reach more scale. So if we make a post and we know that, a certain percentage is engaging with that post more so than the one before it, we may now take that post and put money behind it to reach more people, and in turn try to sell these combinations that we're showing off of our stripes and laces.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned you started using Snapchat. Why Snapchat, not TikTok or Twitter?
Well, Twitter, based on like kind of the age ranges and how people are interacting, Twitter is kind of a tough platform to promote on. It really is more of this engaging platform where you can basically tweet at anyone and they'll most of the time see it. And it's more conversational. So I'll notice that I'll post on Twitter, not any kind of paid, but asking people, hey, do you like this shoe or this shoe better? Or like this combination better? Or sometimes I'll ask, hey, what kind of laces would you guys like us to carry more of? And that's what we're using Twitter for. The reason that we got big into, not necessarily huge, but started spending more money into Snapchat was we were putting all this money into Facebook and Instagram advertising. And I like to just kind of, as the day goes on, click those people that follow you and just take a quick look at their profile and see if there's any similarities amongst all of these people. And what I had noticed was that almost everyone had a Snapchat name in their bio, in their Instagram bio. And so what that told me was all of these users that are engaging with our ads on Instagram and Facebook are also on Snapchat. So the more kind of touch points you can have with the customer, the better chance you're going to have to sell them and to introduce them and maybe make them more familiar with your brand and products. Mm-hmm. TikTok, we've started trying to do like influencer videos on TikTok where we'll have some people make videos in exchange for products. We just haven't gotten really far into that yet. But I definitely would like to venture more into TikTok. I think the reason we haven't got there is because the content has to be different. Whereas Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, you kind of can just have this really nice photo. And TikTok is really a video centric platform. So you don't have that ability to just post a nice photo. You kind of need to tell a story with it, which makes kind of these influencer partnerships a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got a few minutes left. I want to, well, let's see if Kendra or anyone has any other questions. You can drop it in the chat, or you can come on the video if you like. Well, okay. Someone in the, you should make Charlie D'Amelio some shoes.
She's like the biggest girl on TikTok right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So are you going to get into making shoes?
Not necessarily the full shoe. I've started to consider more of this concept that right now, when you think of retail and you think of buying a pair of shoes, you only really have one product in mind. You go to the store and you're going to buy a pair of shoes. And that's the experience. You just have this one thing in mind. Whereas if you think of something like suit shopping, potentially, you're buying a suit, you're buying a matching shirt, you might be buying a handkerchief, you might be buying a tie. Like, you have this whole mindset of you're going to buy things that go together. And so further down the line, I would like to kind of capture this idea in like potentially having where we sell shoes as a licensed reseller, or we have these agreements with brands like Nike or Adidas, and we kind of create this whole e-com shopping experience where you come in and yeah, you're buying your shoe, but now you have all of these different options to accessorize them, where that has never been something before.
Gotcha, that's good. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. We got about 4 minutes. Just in closing, Chris, what words of wisdom would you give these amazing creatives if they want to start a business?
I mean, right now, more than any other time, is probably one of the best times to do it. Anytime there's just like kind of a big shock or a big disruption, it opens plenty of opportunities. And I think no matter what your idea is, people are always going to have a negative viewpoint on it. So just to always kind of keep that in mind and just know that what you're doing is always kind of for yourself, rather than this person that comes on Instagram. Like, there's people on live,
Yeah.
like you got Jacob that says you guys suck. And that's going to happen no matter what. And like, that's life. So just to not let the small things get to you. And when things feel different and feel weird, it's not a bad thing. Just to keep pushing.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you so much, Chris. Just in closing, Kendra, Tori, Mackenzie, anyone on live, any questions? Well, let's give, okay, Tori, to everybody, thank you. Let's give Chris a virtual hand clap. Much love. Thank you so much, Chris. And you're getting thank yous, and you get a hand clap from Mackenzie. So,
all right.
Thank you so much for stopping by, Chris.
Of course. Well, I'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.